Hello, English learners, and welcome back to Speak English Flow, the podcast where you improve your English through meaningful conversations about real-life situations. I'm Emma.
And I'm Mohin. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, and we're excited to spend the next few minutes helping you build more confidence in your English.
Today, we're discussing a topic that challenges even confident speakers, how to talk about yourself in English. More specifically, we're talking about that familiar question many of us have heard in interviews, classrooms, networking events, or everyday conversations. Tell me about yourself.
It's interesting, isn't it? You would think talking about yourself would be easy because you're the person you know best.
Exactly. You know your background, your interests, your experiences, and your goals. Yet the moment someone asks you to introduce yourself, it can feel surprisingly difficult.
Sometimes your mind goes completely blank.
And other times the opposite happens. You suddenly have too much information to share and aren't sure where to begin.
Your job, your studies, your family, your hobbies, your future plans, everything shows up at once.
Right. The challenge usually isn't a lack of information. The challenge is organizing your thoughts clearly and confidently.
So why does such a simple question make so many people nervous?
Because most people think they need a perfect answer. But the truth is, you don't need perfect English and you don't need a memorized speech.
So what do we need?
A simple structure. When you have a clear framework, introducing yourself becomes easier, more natural, and much more confident.
I like the sound of that.
And that's exactly what will help you build in today's episode.
Before we jump in, if you're enjoying these conversations and finding them helpful for your English learning journey,
we'd love for you to subscribe to Speak English Flow and join our growing community of learners from around the world.
Your support helps us continue creating practical, real-world English content every single week.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for learning with us.
All right.
Let's get started. So, why does this happen? Why do we freeze when someone asks about ourselves, the one topic we should know better than anything?
Yes. It's me we're talking about. I should have an answer ready immediately.
Here's the simple science. When we're put on the spot, especially in a second language, our brain enters what you could call performance mode. In performance mode, our working memory gets overloaded because the brain is doing three hard things at the exact same time. It's managing language, managing anxiety about how we sound, and managing what the other person is thinking about us.
That is a lot of things to run at once.
Think about it like this. Imagine you're on your computer and you have 20 browser tabs open at the same time. Music playing, videos loading, notifications coming in, and now someone asks you to do one more thing.
Yes, and then the whole computer slows down and just freezes.
Exactly. That's precisely what your brain does. Too much is running at once and the system crashes. But here's what changes everything. If you close most of those tabs and leave just a few open,
the computer works perfectly again.
Exactly. And that is what a simple personal introduction script does. It closes the unnecessary tabs. It gives your brain just 5 or 6 clear things to say, and suddenly talking about yourself feels smooth and natural.
So we just need to close the extra tabs. Okay, so how do we do that?
So here's the first strategy. It sounds simple, but don't underestimate it. Build a personal mini-script for talking about yourself. Having a clear starting point can make a huge difference when you're trying to speak with confidence.
A script? Like, I memorize exactly what to say word for word?
Not word for word. Think of it more like a map. You know there are 5 or 6 steps on the map, and you know what order to visit them in. So even when you feel nervous, you always know where to go next. You never get lost.
Oh, like when I travel to a new city. Even if I feel a little confused, I know the next steps on my list.
Exactly like that. Your personal mini-scripts has these 5 simple steps. Your name, where you're from, where you live now, what you do for work or study, and 1 or 2 things you enjoy. That's it. 5 steps. And with just those 5, you already have a complete, clear introduction.
All right, let me give it a try. My name is Mohin. I'm from Egypt and I live in Cairo. I work in marketing, and when I'm not working, I enjoy watching football and spending time with friends.
That's perfect. Seriously, clean, clear, and complete. And the beautiful thing about having 5 steps is you can choose how many to use depending on the situation. Short version for quick casual moments, a little longer when someone really wants to know you.
Same script, different lengths. I can work with that.
And spend just a few minutes each day practicing those 5 steps out loud. After a week of consistent practice, starting an introduction will feel far more natural, confident, and effortless.
Okay, but here's something I've noticed. When I'm talking to a new friend or a classmate, it feels different than when I'm in a job interview. Can I use the exact same words in both situations?
Such a good observation, and this is exactly what I want to talk about next, because your introduction should change a little depending on the situation you're in.
How exactly? What changes?
Think about it this way. You wear different clothes for different occasions, right? Casual, comfortable clothes for coffee with a friend, something smarter for an important meeting at work. Same person, different presentation, different clothes.
Oh, so my words are like clothes. I choose different ones for different places.
Perfect way to think about it. For informal situations like meeting a classmate or someone new at a party or a cafe, you can say something like, "Hey, I'm Mohin. I work in marketing and I'm really into football." Very relaxed, very natural. Just 2 friends starting to chat.
Yeah, that feels right. Light and easy.
But in a job interview or a professional setting, you'd say something like, "Good morning, my name is Mohin. I work in the marketing field and I have experience in digital campaigns." Same facts, more careful, more polished structure.
So, hey, I'm really into football is probably not the opening line for a job interview.
Probably save that one for the end. The key is feel the room first. Look at the person in front of you, feel the energy of the situation, and then choose your level: informal, semi-formal, or formal. And the more you practice each version separately, the more automatic it becomes.
Feel the room, then choose your words. That's really practical advice.
And the good news is, once you know all 3 versions, switching between them starts to feel completely natural.
Okay, here's my problem though. I do practice my introduction. I think about it, I go over it in my head. It sounds great up here, and then I open my mouth and completely different words come out, or no words at all.
Oh, that is so real. In your head, it's perfect, fluent, smooth, beautiful, and then out loud, completely different story.
Why does that keep happening?
Because thinking in your head and speaking out loud use very different things. When you speak, your mouth, your tongue, your breathing, your voice, none of those were involved in your mental practice. They were not warmed up. Think about a singer who knows every single word of a song, knows it perfectly in their mind, but hasn't sung it out loud in months. The moment they open their mouth, it doesn't sound like the version they heard in their head.
Right, the voice needs practice too, not just the memory.
Exactly. So the fix is wonderfully simple. Say your introduction out loud, not in your head, out loud. In the mirror, in the shower, while you walk, while you make breakfast, while you wait for the bus.
Even if it feels a little strange or awkward at first?
Especially then. The first few times out loud, it might feel a little clunky. That is completely normal. But by the 5th time, it starts to feel a little smoother. By the 10th time, it starts to feel natural. And by the 20th time, it becomes automatic. Your mouth just knows where to go, even under pressure.
So speaking is actually a physical skill, not just a mental one.
Completely. And here's the best part. All that out loud practice doesn't just help your introduction, it helps your overall English fluency too, because your brain is building the muscle memory for real speech.
Out loud, even alone. Starting today.
Starting today.
Okay, I have my 5 stops. I know my 3 levels. I practice out loud. But sometimes introductions still feel a little flat. Like I hear people say, "I'm from here, I work there, I like this," and it all sounds the same. How do I make mine feel different?
This is my absolute favorite part, because this is the moment where you stop sounding like a form someone is filling in, and you start sounding like an actual human being.
What do you mean exactly?
When you introduce yourself, you are not completing a document. You're starting a conversation, and the most powerful way to invite someone into a real conversation is to give them one small, specific, interesting thing to hold on to, something that makes them want to ask you more.
Wait, what?
One real personal detail, something that shows a little piece of who you actually are. For example, instead of saying, I like reading, you could say, I'm really into mystery novels. I genuinely cannot sleep until I find out who did it. That one extra sentence tells the other person so much more about you.
And now I immediately want to ask which book you're reading right now.
Exactly. That one detail opens a whole conversation. Or instead of just, I work in marketing, you could say, I work in marketing and I really enjoy figuring out why people choose what they choose. That's the same fact with a little window into how your mind works.
So you're still giving the same information, but now the person can see a little bit of who you really are.
Yes, small, true, specific details show personality, and personality is what makes people remember you. Think about this. You probably do not remember someone who said, I'm from Istanbul, I work at a bank, but I guarantee you remember the person who said, I'm from Istanbul, best city in the world for breakfast, by the way.
I now want to go to Istanbul immediately, and I don't even know that person.
And that's the whole point. You don't need to be funny or clever or interesting. You just need to be honest. One true thing that you actually care about, and the whole introduction comes alive.
So don't just report facts, share a small piece of yourself.
Exactly. That's the difference between an introduction people forget in 5 minutes and one they remember for a long time.
All right. Those 4 tips are so practical and easy to use.
The first word is introduce. To introduce yourself means to tell people who you are when you meet them for the first time. It's a simple but essential skill for real-life English conversations.
Like when you walk into a new class and the teacher says, please introduce yourself to the group.
Exactly. Next, freeze means to suddenly stop moving or thinking, especially because of nerves or pressure.
That is my brain every single time someone says, tell me about yourself. It just freezes completely.
We have all been there. Next, impression, the image or feeling that someone gets of you when they meet you for the first time.
So a good, clear introduction helps you make a strong first impression.
And first impressions are hard to change, so they really matter. Next, informal means relaxed and casual, not following strict rules of politeness.
So the way I talk to my close friends, that's informal language?
Yes, and the opposite, formal, means official, professional, and polite, following the rules of a more serious situation.
Got it. Like in a job interview, I definitely don't open with, hey, what's up, to my manager.
Please don't. Next word, script, a prepared set of words or ideas that helps you know what to say.
So our 5-stop mini-script is literally a script, a little personal map of what to say.
Exactly. And having one makes you feel so much calmer. Next, personality, the qualities and characteristics that make you who you are and make you different from everyone else.
So when I add that one personal detail, that's what shows my personality.
Perfectly said. Next, confident, feeling sure of yourself, not afraid or nervous, or at least not showing it.
Can you actually become more confident just by practicing an introduction?
100%. Confidence is built through repetition. Every time you say your introduction out loud, you become a little bit more confident. And last, fluent, means you can speak a language smoothly and naturally without stopping too often or searching for words.
So practicing my introduction out loud actually helps me become more fluent in general, not just with introductions.
Yes, because fluency comes from speaking practice, not from reading or thinking. And those are your key words from today. Use one of them in a sentence this week, and they will stick with you forever.
Try using just one of these words in your next English conversation. That's all it takes to start building confidence. Those words are so useful, especially freeze, script, and personality. They're the kind of words that show up in real conversations all the time, and I have a feeling I'll be noticing them everywhere.
That's one of the best things about learning vocabulary through real conversations. Once you learn a word in context, you start hearing it and noticing it all around you.
Well, that officially brings us to the end of today's episode.
We hope today's conversation gave you a simple structure to follow and a little more confidence for the next time someone says, "Tell me about yourself."
And if today's episode helped you feel a little more prepared to introduce yourself in English,
please subscribe to Speak English Flow and share this episode with one friend who is also working to become a more confident English speaker.
your support helps us keep creating practical English conversations every single day, and we truly appreciate it.
Just one friend, that's enough.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Speak English Flow.
Your English journey doesn't stop here. Click on the next episode and keep learning with us. Until next time, take care and bye for now.